I would like to welcome everyone to episode 3 of our Inspire webinar series. My name is Albert Dryford. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Head of Operations and Training at Inspire Africa. And as usual, Greta Robinson, our Head of Curriculum, is here with me. And this afternoon, we are going to delve into the exciting and sometimes scary realm of AI. And our topic specifically is unlocking the power of AI, or artificial intelligence, in the classroom. With us today, we have Dr. Adrian Watson from Custodian College, one of our leading schools in our country. Being an expert in the integration and use of AI in the classroom, Dr. Watson has a PhD in philosophy from the University of KwaZulu-Natal and is currently Head of Education and Research and Innovation, Head of Education, Research and Innovation at St. Stithians College. She's also a founding member of Reading to Learn South Africa. I would like to welcome you and thank you for joining us today. Just a few. Awesome. Then, I think we'll kick off straight away with some questions. But to our viewers and our attendees, please feel free to add any questions and comments in the comment section. I will also be making various polls live during the discussion, and please, vote. Let us know, where your decisions lie and what you've been up to on your side also. Just again, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. We will keep monitoring them non-stop, and then I'll hand over to Greta with the questions.
Yes, hi everybody, I'm Greta Robinson from Inspire Africa and I'm the Curriculum Manager. And we have our very special guest here today. I think AI and ChatGPT has been on the lips of everyone, in particular with education. We are constantly being asked by our schools and our educators, what is our point of view with AI, ChatGPT? How do we implement it? We then came across a wonderful post by Adrian on LinkedIn and how she explained how her school, St. Stithians, is implementing policies in ChatGPT. But I'm not going to steal your thunder, Adrian. Thank you so much for joining us. Throughout this webinar, give us the thumbs up. There's little emoticons. You can, let it glitter as some of the ideas that come up really resonate with you. But Adrian, in terms of the implementation, how did what sparked the innovation of really bringing AI and ChatGPT to life at your school? Where did you guys start?
Thanks, Greta. Well, because it's artificial intelligence, it's brought itself to life. I had the predictions were true, the dire ones. No, we didn't bring it to life, actually. It was that life arrived and we realized, firstly, I need to qualify. Sorry, Albert, I'm going to contradict you. And anyone who's done a PhD, if the moment you finish your PhD and you hand it in, you do not realize that you know nothing in the whole world, you haven't had the very first thing about it. So I do not identify, to use the common language, as an AI expert at all. I think we will all be learning about AI for a very long time. So, but thank you for the confidence, but I have to qualify that I am not the expert, particularly in the classroom. I was hoping my colleague, our arts teacher in the boys' college, would be joining us. He is the expert on what is actually going on in the classroom and has done some wonderful things. But I can speak more to your question, Greta, to what did we do? So fortunately, part of my job, and fortunately St. Stithians is the kind of school that has the capacity, the privilege of having a role like mine where I kind of hover around watching what's going on. And as I saw AI, as I saw ChatGPT land, I thought, okay, black swan. I put that in my post. I'm a fan of the work of Nicholas Taleb, and the concept of watching out for a black swan was already in my mind. So I thought this potentially can be absolutely fantastic for education or absolutely terrible. And my immediate response was to say to our team of digital learning coaches, we have 5, we are privileged enough to have 5, in addition to our actual staff who do the work. Let's see what's actually going on, because you can't respond to something in a vacuum. So that's when we went into action, and we did some research to see which of our students were already using it. Did they know what they were doing? Which of our staff, and not only educators, but all of our support staff as well. So our first response was to find out what was actually going on, because you can't develop a coherent response unless you know what you're responding to. So I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I love the fact that, you did go and check with your students first, seeing who is using ChatGPT, as well as your educators, calling it a bit of a black swan. I think in terms of your parent support, your educator support, were you met with any resistance regarding the implementation of ChatGPT? And we'd like to go into a little bit more detail a little bit later on how you are using in the classroom. But in terms of getting everyone on board, what were your challenges there? Did you face resistance?
No, in fact, just the opposite. So we put the survey, we haven't surveyed our parents, we surveyed our staff. I signaled immediately to our heads, we need to have this on our radar, we need to move very fast, because without a doubt, the children were already using it, and the students were, and the educators were using it. And so we did the survey, and the response was amazing. We got 1,000 students we surveyed from grade 7 up to grade 12 across our 4 schools, our 2 preps and our colleges. And then we had about, I think just under 200 we've surveyed the educators, the staff again. So all in all, we've had about 500 or 600 educator responses. The interest level is extremely high, and so is the anxiety level. So our first survey revealed an anomaly, and that was so we asked them, are you using it? We asked them a little bit around what were they using it, or which aspects of AI. We weren't specific around naming ChatGPT or DALL-E or one of the others. And what was alarming was that we could see very clearly a picture emerging that both the students, a large percentage of the students and a large percentage of the staff, were using it. And then we asked them, do you understand how it works? So that was a very general question. And, some people say, well, you don't need to understand how a car works to use it. But given what's at stake with AI, we were in the situation where very quickly we could see that people were using something they didn't understand the implications of their use, what those implications are in relation to ethics, POPI, bias, hallucinations, fake news, all of those sorts of things. So that is a very dangerous situation in an educational institution, to have all of this data going into a system, and then no one actually really understands how it works and what the implications and the ramifications were. So that signaled to us we must do things very quickly. And then we also put out, so when we realized how, what a phenomenon this is, we communicated very quickly with our parents to signal to them that we were on this. We knew, we were managing it. And then we also sent out a follow-up letter after we'd done our research analysis and report, which we did in about 2 weeks. So we did a real sprint. It was fast, pressured, hard to get the results. We communicated that to the parents. But in the interim, we had about 4 parents who are experts in the AI space come, and they were actually part of our research panel. So when we looked at all the data, they helped us analyze the data. They worked with the team. We did a quick literature survey. We followed proper research protocols and came across some really helpful documents in the process. And then that work informed the guideline, because the research process helped us to realize that to formulate a policy, because we're in a situation where, teaching is a mysterious craft, and you can't, what is the word I want to use? Not harness, but you can't bridle creativity. You can't stifle innovative teachers. So we didn't want to be draconian and say no one must use AI, because for me, that is a deep offense to a really good educator. And it's not how we work at St. Stithians. So we wanted to create a situation where we could say to our teachers, look, we know you're using AI, just go cautiously. We want to put a couple of guardrails. So we didn't want to come with a heavy-handed policy, just no, or, whatever, put up more firewalls. So our response was quick guidelines. So after we'd got the research done and the report, and we'd had a bit of a conference, I think I gave our DLC team, we had a meeting on the Wednesday. I said, guys, I need a guideline by Monday. I want to see it because it's got to go to the teachers on the Tuesday, because they are using this and they need some help. Because there were some very specific themes that emerged from the literature and from from the data that we got. And we used that to inform the guideline. And our team did it. So the sense of relief it's given the teachers to just have a few parameters. So that's like
Absolutely.
some guardrails, some training wheels, if you like. But then we've also put behind the scenes, we have a different team that are the policy nitpickers. So they are looking.
You have to have those.
They are looking at the POPIA implications, at our student code of conduct, at our plagiarism, at assessment, because actually the thing I've realized, possibly this has the biggest impact on assessment. And I wish Michael were here with me. And Michael, if you are here, Michael Matthews, please reveal yourself, because he's an art teacher, and he has a situation, or had a situation, where one of his students refused to use AI, ChatGPT at that stage, and others in his class were using it. And so there was an inherent skewing in the classroom scenario, because the students who were using AI were starting to get better marks, and the one who was choosing to not use it, their marks were dropping. So then I began to think about, well, this has an impact on how you structure formative assessments, how you craft your rubrics. Are you now going to have to ask the students to include their first draft of something that was generated by ChatGPT or whatever else? Even things like if you're doing an art practical and you give a verbal prompt and then you get a picture, are you being assessed on your words or on your picture? So the implications for assessment, I think, for me, are the biggest. And we found in the second round of surveys we did with our teachers, number one, they were using ChatGPT for lesson generation, which could be great. Number two, they were using it for report comments. So then I had to put another set of brakes on and say, whoa, hang on a minute. I need to check with your heads if they are happy, because by then we also had a training plan. So our team went away. We have a training plan based on our research. They wanted to start with report comments. I said, no, guys, you can't do that, because the heads might not want their staff using ChatGPT for reports. So it's been an unfolding drama. And then we had a staff PD with Professor Benjamin Rosman. And in a private chat with him, he said, ChatGPT 3 is rapidly deteriorating, which you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out is going to happen. So then we sent a blanket letter out to the staff saying, no more ChatGPT 3, stop. Now we're moving on to Bing ChatGPT 4 Enterprise. So it's, weekly, daily, it's unfolding. Sorry, that was a very long answer. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And you covered so much. I think there's a lot of educators on the webinar, really interested. You're touching on points such as assessment. This is going to be changing the way that we assess, the way that we now need the learners to do their projects. What are we assessing? We need to be looking at these larger skills. I think a lot of our listeners are also dying to hear, and I know Michael's not here to elaborate on it, but perhaps you can maybe pinpoint a couple of ways that he in the art class or some of the other educators are really harnessing the power of ChatGPT or AI within the class, even if you can just maybe give a little bit of an overview.
I can actually give quite a detailed explanation, because my role at St. Stithians is to coordinate, again, without stifling individual creativity, because of our unique model where we've essentially got a child on an educational journey. Well, from next year, it'll be, we're opening our first grade RRR class. So we have a child for 15 years in our environment. The educational opportunity to design a curriculum very intentionally to continuously progress in a very articulated and coherent way is a phenomenal opportunity. So part of my job is to ensure that that journey is, the opportunity of that is seized, which means that continuously, whatever innovation comes out, we measure against developmental stages, boy, girl, because we're both co-ed and monastic. And then it's also got to fit whatever pedagogic best practice is at the time. So part of my role is to, just go along with that journey and accompany the teachers in that and make sure that that line, that golden thread is held with integrity. So that preface is that I heard that Michael was doing an AI presentation to the staff and particularly to the boys prep. So I said to him, I need to meet with you because he said he was, doing it according to best teacher practice, but I'm not an art teacher. AI is new to me. And we had this wonderful 2-hour working lunch at our fantastic Higher Ground restaurant, which is on our property. And he very patiently explained to me okay, let me just tell you what he did. So he created the most beautiful graphic novel using AI and based on manga and a lot of things about which he is much more knowledgeable than I, to introduce, if I remember, he was introducing different art movements. So I've seen the product, but it was a couple of weeks, the creation, not the product, sorry, that's a terrible word, his beautiful creation. So he very intentionally applied excellent teaching practices in terms of building prior knowledge, creating schema, scaffolding, because he had this character in the graphic novel telling a story. So using narrative as play, to scaffold, to build. So he was introducing different artistic movements throughout the ages. I forget where he started. I know Holbein I saw at some stage, so he would have been in the Elizabethan era, and then I think he might have, gone up through to the modernist era, to that sort of a thing. But there was this character who was encountering these artists through his story in this graphic novel. And then he would come in and introduce the hardcore, difficult artistic concepts. So that's what he presented to me and is available and he's using in his classroom. And then the session he did with the boys prep was a sort of a slightly scaled down version where he showed those teachers how to create a graphic novel and using AI and tell a story to introduce and scaffold new knowledge, or to build schema where there isn't prior knowledge. So it was just great because he had integrated proper teaching best practice with developmentally appropriate things, with play, with story, all of which, as we know now, everybody wants, all their data presented as a story. We all just want to read stories. I don't want to apply too much of our cerebral things apart from stories. So yeah, if he could show you what he'd done, it really blew me away. And so I said, please go with my blessing. That is a really good case for how AI is used properly.
Yeah.
So, and then I have other situations where I've just had to give some feedback, and I was looking at a little kid doodling and how you can put the doodle into, I forget the name of the exact AI app, and wow, you have a perfect drawing. And I'm thinking, I don't know if the head of our junior prep would actually think that's such a good idea, because you're reinforcing instant gratification. You're not, a very good teaching practice is working with desirable difficulties. Children have got to learn to put effortful, sustained application into desirable difficulties so that they become able to deal with, to learn hard stuff fast, or to learn it eventually. So it's a mixed bag at the moment, so it's a wonderfully exciting journey, and I'm learning a lot from what our teachers are doing when I see them doing it. But my role is to just push and pull, kind of, okay, let's look at all of this. So that's where we're at.
It sounds absolutely amazing. I know I did art at school, and I would have loved to have explored, Matthew's classes and, learning from that as well. Have you noticed an impact, a positive impact on the learners themselves that have been interacting or engaging in lessons whereby the educators are really using meaningful AI within the lessons?
From some of the anecdotal evidence I've heard, it's quite intriguingly mixed. So apparently there is a pattern where some of the students, possibly the more mature students, are refusing to use AI because they feel that they are then relinquishing their ownership of their intellectual property and their intellectual labor. But then I also know that some of our English teachers, I think, or maybe even the history teachers, someone in the humanities, no, it is English, they've challenged the students to discern, which version of a speech or something has been written by AI and which has been written by a human, and the kids are enjoying that. I haven't heard, I haven't started to harvest and see for myself. My plan is once we've got the guideline and the policy, and we're having a parent webinar quite soon where we're just going to, bring the parents into our love blanket and say, let us help you with your children at home and monitoring this and this sort of thing. What do you need from us as a college? How can we help? So I think next year I'll probably have a better idea of exactly what's going on, because the training plan, we're going to start with prompts. We wanted to start with reports, but that's not happening. So we're starting with prompts because as everybody knows, your prompt is the thing. So
absolutely.
And then it's going to be, things like, if you want to use AI, you have to be able to justify exactly, like in the case of Michael Matthews, his reasoning and his rationale for how he did things was absolutely indestructible. It was solid, cogent, coherent, pedagogically sound. So we're going to train them that this can't be a random thing. So I think, more and more it will unfold. But worryingly, apparently, somebody like Michael, who's been steeped in this for years, actually, he's been working with AI long before it was a thing. And he said that, now I've just lost my train of thought, actually. Sorry, it's gone.
All right, let's move on here. I think, Adrian, a lot of our schools listening here, our educators, our principals would love to start implementing some form of policy within their school. Now, with the research that you've done, the surveys that you have conducted, the intricate path that you have journeyed on, what is your sound advice? Where should our schools start? How should they start with implementation of these forms of policies?
It's a hard question to answer because every school is going to be different. So, and that sounds like a cop-out, and it's not, because I don't generally cop out of things, but we were very intentional about creating an AI guideline and or an AI policy for St. Stithians. Some of the other work I'm involved with revolves around decolonizing and Africanizing the curriculum. Now, because no one in the world can agree on what that is, we have decided to craft a working definition of that for our context, because we're a Methodist Christian school in Johannesburg. So I'd say the first point would be thoroughly interrogate your context. And that means find out what your teachers feel, what they know, survey your parents. So stakeholder engagement is really, really key. So we haven't surveyed our parents yet because we believe that starting with the students and staff was the most important thing. So I think start with your most important stakeholder, whatever that is for the school. You know, in some schools, particularly the independent schools, you could argue that perhaps your parent is your most important stakeholder, but then in some state schools, not really. It might be your student, and find out exactly what your students are doing. So, for example, in our outreach academy, Tandalwazi, we have, I don't know if you know about Tandalwazi, but we every Saturday about 1,200 DBE students come onto our campus, and they have extra lessons across a range of subjects. Their understanding and engagement and knowledge of AI is much, much less well developed than our students. So, you know, I think key is to know who's your most important stakeholder. Is it your teacher? Is it your parent? Is it your student? What do they know about AI? What are they doing with it? And then relate that information to what are your most critical strategic teaching and learning challenges in terms of best practice. Because for us, what remains key is our core business, which is teaching and learning. That is actually driven by humans. And our meme is #HI before AI, human intelligence before artificial intelligence. And so I think I would advise people to very carefully match their response to their context. With, you know, there's a lot of documents out there, and I would be very happy to share. It was from UNESCO, OECD, qualifications, you know, frameworks from various places, implications on qualifications. There's lots of information out there, and I would be happy to send all of that to you because it's in the, you know, it's in the open domain anyway. It's on the Commons. So that would be my advice. Put a guardrail, you know, a guideline, something, and use ours if you like. It's, you know, take our logo out and use it. Just give teachers encouragement, but alert them to the fact that this is not a fix, and they need to be very, very careful about their approach. It's got to be qualified and held, and in a way, I think the role of the teacher to do that, to be that holding space for the students, is now even more important than ever. Because it's, you know, the way back in the olden days, I think I mentioned that, no, which was in another meeting, sorry, I've just had, I used to sell, before I was a nerd, I sold IBM computers, and I was a sales rep, and it was great to get a 10 megabyte hard drive with 256K RAM. But something I learned in those days was the GIGO principle, and that still applies. Garbage in, garbage out.
I love it.
Yeah. So, and which is why human intelligence has to still come before artificial intelligence. So, long-winded answer. Our human intelligence and our craft as educators must guide and hold the space. I think if teachers, and look, it's tempting. I mean, you can create a magnificent lesson plan, or rather, with a good prompt, you can create a fantastic lesson plan. It can make you lazy as anything. Or it can free up your time to get the basics and then knock the lights out with your human intelligence to enhance something. So I don't know if that kind of answers the question.
No, I think that is amazing advice. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Adrian. I think a lot of us have found valuable context from it. So thank you very much. I think we've got we have run out of time, but if there are any questions, Albert, that have come through, if anybody would like to ask a question quickly before we wrap up.
I see Ridwan has had his hand up for quite a while. There was no specific further questions coming through.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I just want to thank Adrian for her input. I'm from the Western Cape Education Department, and we were ready to run out AI 3 months ago already. And then again, like Adrian said, we had to look at it from different angles. the POPI Act and the children's safety. And this is why we actually, 3 months later, I've already named my chatbot for social sciences Earther, and then we had to put a stop to it because of the red tape. But I think it's phenomenal. One of our curriculum planners for life orientation rolled out his chatbot as just a pilot, and within the first week he had over 1 million hits.
Wow.
So the impact is phenomenal, and it's just a matter of, and this is what we're doing at the WCED at the moment. We are looking at it from different angles. How do we protect our children? Exactly what you said, Adrian. Thank you so much. I'm going to get into contact with you with regards to it. Yeah, thanks so much, and
You're very
thank
welcome.
you and them for the session. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I do have, if I may make mention, are you taking another question?
No.
we
You
have
can go ahead.
I just want to acknowledge one of my colleagues I've seen here. She's actually tuned in from Mauritius. She's an ex-colleague, Bronwyn Desjardins. She was my tutor into the world of tech. So I can see she's in here, and she's probably posting loads and loads of helpful things. And she was one of my information sources. So I do need to acknowledge her contribution to the research process, and she keeps me informed. I regularly get updates. So Bronwyn, I see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bronwyn. I see all your notes here as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Please invite Matthew back and just ask him to show you.
We would love to have a part 2, and I think we openly confirmed this now already.
Yeah, no, I think if I look at the polls and stuff, there's definitely a lot of people that has more questions that would love to take this further.
And our digital learning coaches are working with artificial intelligence from, the littlies, grade 1s, and then right through the preps. Our people are doing amazing things. So they're a bit busy at the moment. So I would love them to be part of this. They are actually the stars. I'm the sort of the whip cracker behind the scenes. And
we'll definitely schedule another session.
That's great. Thanks.
I don't know if there are any other specific questions. Just maybe a quick mention on the polls. Those of you that are not familiar with Google Meets, on your bottom right, you'll see it's like a triangle and a square and a circle. And if you hover over it, it shows activities. If you click over that, you have an option to access the polls. You're more than welcome to go and place your vote there. We added a few questions there. I'll keep it open till the end of the session. I don't know if there are any other urgent questions, or maybe somebody would like to make a comment.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. We host our webinars once a month. This is a special one in the beginning of the month, but usually the last Thursday of the month. So stay tuned, and we will be sending invites for more of our webinars so that you can get training up to speed with 4IR Tech and introducing coding and robotics and other technologies within your classroom. So thank you very much again, Adrian, for joining us today.
You're so welcome.
Really appreciate your insight, was valuable. And we look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
From my side also, I just want to thank Dr. Watson for generously sharing her valuable time and knowledge with us. It was really a pleasure to have you here with us this afternoon. As always, please keep in mind that Inspire Africa is here to support you. So if you have any further inquiries related to either this topic, or if you require assistance with the implementation of 4IR technologies and curriculum in your classroom, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at any time. And wishing you all a wonderful afternoon ahead. And until next time, take care.
Cheerio. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Great.
Thank you.